guys.
Knock, knock, mate.
Yeah, come in. Sorry, I'm banged up, but just come up.
No worries. Are your shoes on or shoes off?
Doesn't matter, just wipe them, mate, down there.
Alright.
And we'll keep them on. You just want a cuppa or something?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, have I got the youngie and the oldie?
Yeah. Come on, mate.
Which is
Wheelchair.
Wheelchair, I'm not even... Gee, I was banged up. Mate, you got no idea. I got Superman. Hey, Graham, thanks for coming over.
No worries.
Hey, Graham, thanks for coming up to the hospital.
It's a pleasure.
Jeez, man, I've had some dark nights since then.
Yeah.
Just pain, you know.
Yeah.
Did they get you on some heavy drugs?
Well, they did, but I tried to steer off it because like it wasn't reaching the pain that was making me all flighty. So I've got it back to the Panadol on the last 3 nights.
I found out with some endone after I had a knee reconstruction. I was lying on the bed at home,
I don't think
looking out the window, and it was like, I'm going to my wife, oh, Alison, check out the shadows of the leaves.
Yeah, that's right.
And I thought, I'm not taking this again. I'm
No,
starting to
yeah.
trip.
Well, I was looked after by a Jehovah Witness nurse. Do you know Jafrica?
No.
Jafrica?
No, I don't.
He's a top guy.
Oh, cool.
Jeez, good, yeah. I went straight back to half an endone overnight, straight away, which just got me through, but far out, it got dark there for a while. I mean, sit down, boys, I'll put on a joke. I'll chuck this in the bin. And, yeah, sit down, sit down. Good of you to come over. Thanks for coming up to the hospital, Graham.
No, it was a pleasure.
I was doing all right at that point, you know, believe it or not.
And I was telling Graham, like, you're impaled, like, telling me about how that they just literally, they bang in a 2-foot nail in you through your heel.
Get out.
Yes, it's just savage.
And that stayed in there for a week.
It'd be about diameter. Whack. Right through.
For the swelling to go, because they can't operate on you till the swelling goes. Oh, mate. That wasn't too bad, though. It was after the operation. And my arm, still my arm. Gee, my arm's banged up. Still having trouble with my arm. Oh, mate. How are you going? How's it going down at the waterfront?
Oh, we haven't been down there since we last saw you, I don't think.
Is the Chinese coming down there yet?
See, we haven't been down there because
my wife. I was in Melbourne, then I was sick for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And my wife, with her diagnosis, you know, we've been off to doctors.
What happened to your wife?
Breast cancer.
Will she get? What's going to happen? Is she going to get
mastectomy next Wednesday?
Is she going to get one off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
There's no option. It's honestly, with this particular type of cancer, it's the safest way.
God,
it's quick.
How do you have your tea?
I'm black, no sugar. I'm easy.
Yeah, white and one.
Yeah, I'm easy. He's difficult.
Black, 1 sugar, was it? No sugar.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Just tea.
I might go no sugar tea. I'll be good.
Really?
Yeah. I'll trust your tea. It'll be good.
See, I'm sorry about that, Graham, for your wife.
So, well, you know, that's just life at the present time. You just got to deal with things the best you can.
How's she?
Well, she's good. We found it important to keep up, like, our spiritual routine with the meetings and Bible study and doing field service, you know, going door to door. It's just important because it keeps you focused on something really positive. And the other thing is that, I mean, she's a really practical person, and, you know, she'd rather be alive to be with a family and with the kids. So that's, you know, just the decision you've got to make.
It's good too, isn't it? Doing like preaching work is good because it helps you to not just think about your own problems all the time.
No, that's right.
Sometimes you come across people that's like 10 times worse than
Look at me, I went from the solo man to...
to the empty tin.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, what a...
But it just shows you, doesn't it? Life is so fragile. Like 1 minute, See, the Bible talks about, I mean, Solomon said that time and unforeseen occurrence befalls us all. There are just some things you can't see coming.
As I say, the swift don't have the race, the strong don't always win.
And all that.
Yeah,
I thought I would have got hit by a shark on the stand-up paddleboard before this. But can you remember that Windy Wednesday? The real bad one? I went to Saratoga and I was out for about 15 minutes and I've gone, no, there's too much uplift. So I come in, and I should have pulled the safety as soon as I got near the edge, but I left it and I went for a self-land. And then at Saratoga you've got this bank of mangroves, right? If you know it, and then there's a sailing club, and between the mangroves and the sailing club, which I didn't think of, there's a wind tunnel.
Oh, okay.
So I've come out, lowered the kite, and it's come into the mangroves, and I'm going, I'm safe. And I've kept walking towards the big trees, and then I've gone to unhook, and the kite's gone out into the tunnel, and I've just gone Superman.
Yeah.
Gee, it was bad, man.
How far did you come down?
4 metres. Trying to figure out how I was going to land, and then I landed, and my foot went up there and pushed out the ankle. This just snapped off. And so then I'm going along and changed the baby's nappy position on the ground. So immediately gone, ankle gone, arm gone. Then I must have done a spin in the air when it took me off, which is unusual. And the safety's under here, so I've gone to get the safety, but that hand's back there, so I had to get over here. And it took me about 10 metres, and then I pulled the safety and it stopped. And then the safety took up, and then I had to undo the second safety, or it was going to take me again. And then I laid there, I reckon for about 2 minutes. Because the people sit in their houses and watch, and they come down and they've gone, oh gosh, and rang an ambo. And to talk about the help of the ambos and that, how good are they? Wow.
Hope you had ambulance cover.
Oh, it was only $500.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it wasn't much. And the hospital's all for nothing. All for nothing. I can't believe it. I can't believe the way they look after you. And then to have a Jehovah Witness nurse,
small world,
you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't believe it. This guy was awesome. He was so good. Jaffrey Cup, you'll meet him. Jaffrey Cup. He's part, I think he's part of original something else.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Do you know Janet?
Janet.
She's African.
Matassa.
Janet Matassa.
Is that the one with all the makeup and that?
No, that's her sister.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, she works at Gosford Hospital too, but in a different department. She said she knew Jaffrika.
What part's she working?
I think it's neurosurgery. She's a nurse in that section, I think.
Gosh.
I don't know if he's still there, but Jonathan Clero is he's a nurse at Wyong. And Ali's mum had him when she went in. Yeah. He'd only just moved up the coast then because he's got family up here. But he's such a good kid too. We couldn't speak 5 minutes with him.
So neither of you want sugar?
No sugar.
You just want a piece of toast or something?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. I had a Muslim stay here last night.
Did you?
Yeah, we got because he come up from Adelaide and he bought the truck and the excavator.
Oh, your truck and excavator?
Yeah, they've only just left to go to Adelaide. But,
oh, cool.
The missus cooked spaghetti bolognese and we said, have tea with us, and he finally convinced him. And then I didn't notice this, but I was watching him, he was sitting where you are, and he was pushing the mince to the side, and I thought he must eat the pasta first and then hook into the meat later. But it wasn't halal. The missus goes, he didn't eat the meat. I've gone, yeah, it wasn't halal, but what they don't know is all cows and sheep that are slaughtered are slaughtered by Muslims, all of them.
Yeah.
So it's all halal. But then what happens is the big, so I used to do slaughterment at Gosford. Do you remember Gosford? Gosford,
no.
right?
Oh, over there, I think, Racecourse Road.
No, Mans Road. There used to be a massive abattoirs here. Anyway, you get the little muzzos that come in and cut the throats and that, like the little priest ones, and then you get the big sheiks come through the chillers and pick out what they want. But it's all halal. It's all. Yeah. Not one animal is killed except by a Muslim. All of them. Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Things you don't know that you should. So you know, how do you cool this down, bro?
I don't, just as it is.
Jeez, it's hot.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, I'll wait till it cools
He's got
naturally.
no feeling. No sense. No feeling.
You'll get it.
That was just a
Yeah,
that was a pretty cheap shot.
cheap shot, yeah.
So
You know what?
I felt guilty. It was
know
coming
what?
out and I was just
It's
thinking,
making me feel better, you know why?
why?
Because you've taken the mantle off me and now I can feel like a decent human being. And there's a reverse cheek shot.
This is a reverse cheek shot.
My goal was to get out and get back to the kettle. It took me a week after I got home to be able to do this.
Wow.
I'm feeling bad, we should be doing this.
Yeah,
Right, no,
exactly.
No.
It's taken me
That's
back.
for little bro.
It's taken me back. Do you remember that old television show years ago called
Thanks,
Ironsides?
Who?
Ironsides.
Yeah.
In the wheelchair.
Yeah. That was a good show. Right, this will be hot, Graham, so please don't burn yourself.
Wouldn't it be? How about if I walk over and get it
No,
off
I've got it.
you? You got it, okay.
And I've got to hydrate, so I'll just have water. But I'm going alright, I'm on the mend. Mate, I've had some dark nights.
Do you know?
So the bones have got to heal. You'd be 6 weeks before you can get into physio or stuff like
Well,
that.
I've been down on the gym this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with this thing over here, look. I've got it. It's got a special thing, look. So I can put my knee in there, with my foot hanging out there, and that's like a peg leg.
Do you know what? Apparently if you buy the device and it comes with a copy,
Yeah. But how good's that? So I'm into it, mate. I'm into the, I'm not wasting any, you know, all the muscle groups I can exercise.
Yeah.
I'm trying to exercise. So, yeah, but mate, I've had some, this bone here, like this bone here, it's lifting up and down. I hope it hasn't come off the plate. I'm going to the doctor on Saturday to get it x-rayed. I keep having to push it back and it snaps back. And, right, get this is what's bizarre about it. When I bend my arm, it clicks in there, and then something moves here, and then when I straighten it out, it clicks back and that moves again, like there's a wrong length, something's happened there. So, I don't know why they took it straight out of the plaster. I've gone, mate, because when I went in
well, I mean, if they screwed it up with metal, then that's why they take it out.
So doughy, bro. It's so doughy, I'm going, this don't feel right.
You worry about it when you're sleeping. Maybe you roll on it and that sort of stuff too, I mean. Yeah. You ever had any other operations?
Yeah, I've had, I broke this leg, and that was bad, worse than this.
How did the deal come out? Because you had that shattered bone, didn't you? You were saying between the leg bone
I've got pictures, what's this? I'm sure I've got pictures, hang on. It's not real good.
You don't want to see?
Yeah, I get queasy with anything.
That might be x-rays, there could be ultrasounds.
Nah.
You don't want to see the foot when they took the thing off and that, but I can show you. Hang on, right, she might have all the pictures of it. Like that's that thing there, that was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I shouldn't have done that because I ended up pulling up really crook. No, she might have all the pictures. Oh. No. Hang on. No, that's going back to when you came to the hospital. Yeah, they put 3 screws in the heel to screw that back together and 1 into the tibia, which they had to chop to get to the inside of the heel. And it's not very nice. Yeah. No, it's not nice. But this arm, it's
Probably because orthopaedic surgeons ought to do their trade as a duty before they do this, because a friend of mine went out riding his bike in the back.
push that aside, Graf, just so I can see.
Exactly behind him, busted his leg up, and they put a long piece of steel in, and I was looking at his x-rays because he was showing it to me, and so you can see that this piece of steel had been countersunk, and you know how if you're screwing something in that's been countersunk and you don't do it straight, how one edge will hit and it cranks over? Almost every one of them was like that, and I said, mate, this bloke's no carpenter, and the screws seemed too long.
Well, with this, like, they cut a hole there.
With that story.
No, yeah, I'm sorry, no, but he doesn't have that problem. Yeah. I'm just saying they should be, look, because you're worried about the length of something.
I'm starting to get worried about how much I've banged myself up. But this leg here, they had to cut that bone out there. They hammered a big pin down in there, stopped, lined it up, and then hammered it into there, and in the marrow. And when I woke up after that, I've never experienced anything. I can't explain what that was like.
Pain.
Oh, I was
screaming.
Motorbike. Young lad, rat bag lad. Yeah. But I've done a lot of
I don't believe it. I don't believe
and
it.
then
You were a rat bag when you were young?
Yeah. And then they had to pull it back out 2 years later.
Imagine that, he's having a cheap shot at the injured man.
Hey.
I won't be laying bricks anymore.
The roof.
I won't be laying bricks anymore. I'll tell you what, so this arm, so and my foot. It's going to take a while to get better. I'm looking tough on the outside, but overnight, everything goes dark overnight, and you know, I think you become more self-conscious or something.
If you're not sleeping, then the night can become long.
Yeah.
If you're not sleeping because of pain, or you're not comfortable, or sometimes that can, you might find that
I'm just going to sit that way.
It's not so much hurting, but it doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah. Well, what I do is I stay in there until I start keeping her awake, and then I come out and lie in front of that heater, see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. But that's not going good. I'll get there, but I'm going to stay positive. And
like for a while with injuries, you're not getting anywhere, but then all of a sudden, you sort of turn a corner.
Yeah. And with operations and stuff, you're like, you stretch a little bit too far. And, have I heard it again? Is it going to get better? You're always.
Have you hurt yourself before?
I had a couple of hernia operations.
Did you? Yeah, internal things. Yeah.
And
then you get worried.
In scale of what you've done, when I was 6, see this finger here?
Yeah.
Stuck in a hinge.
Did you really? And it got sharp. Oh, that would have hurt.
That's pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Your wife, when's she getting operated on?
Next Wednesday.
Where's she having that?
Over the hill, North Cofford.
North Cofford,
yeah.
Good worry for your wife.
That's nice and close to where I live, no?
Yeah.
Where do you live, bro?
Range Road, it's just...
Range Road, I know Range Road.
It sort of runs almost opposite the hospital.
Yeah.
Just down the hill a little bit.
Yeah, so
So what about all the Sheilas? Are they still going down the station and all that? What about Mark?
Yep.
Is he still around?
Yep. Mark Smart.
I don't know his surname.
Yeah, with the laundromat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told him when
Did you?
after, because we saw you that Saturday, we had the meeting in the afternoon.
What did he say?
I mentioned that you were down there. Well, I mean, he was just sort of surprised. I mean, he didn't know, so, yeah. But, yeah, Graham was saying before, it's a shame you're recovering from this in winter. I did this after a work accident once too, where they were going to amputate my foot, but they didn't, unfortunately, when I was 19.
What did you do?
There was a water tank that came through the work site, and they just put 10 tonnes of water on, and they were driving too fast, and they turned in on us. And the dual wheels at the back went over my right foot from the back. No. I was 2 weeks in hospital. I was having physio 6 days a week for 6 months.
Gosh, but you've come good.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
No, well the thing is, and I remember talking to the surgeon, you know, he said to me at the end of the process, he said, you didn't think you'd get here? And I said, no, not really. And he said, you know, the body is an incredible thing. The way it recovers. And I thought, yeah, because it's just been designed that way. You know, we were never meant to have any of these things happen, and yet there's this incredible resilience. I mean, you know, you prem your car, it doesn't fix itself, does it? You knock the paint off, it doesn't grow some more.
But I've found in bones I've broken, the ones that are close to the surface, like I broke my collarbone, broke both of them. Man, that hurts. When it gets cold, I've got shirt fronts.
What had happened?
I've got shirt front, you know, shirt front like a tackle.
Oh, playing footy.
I wasn't actually playing footy.
Just mucking around.
I was just a kid.
Jeez, that would have hurt.
Man, they hurt. Because there's nothing to keep it warm, and when it gets cold, so I imagine it's probably similar with you, particularly with the wrist.
Well, I get over near the heater and I just
keep it
stand
warm
by the heater, like a kebab thing. Just turning it.
Because when the cold gets into the bone, man, oh, that's not nice.
I find with this foot, even now, because you expect it to come back only when you get older, but even now after all those years, because I'm only 19,
it's heat and cold sensitive.
It really hasn't troubled me much.
Hasn't it?
No.
Oh, that's good.
Not at all.
Wow.
Yeah. So maybe it's, like you say, it's just where it is.
I've had those sort of injuries but never broken one, and it's the most horrible pain. Oof.
So, you'll come back from this. It's just that when you're in the process, sometimes it's hard to just kind of relax about that.
I'm not allowed to kiteboard anymore. That's over. She won't go through this again. So that's the last of that. But I'll still be able to paddleboard.
We all end up with a list of things that we're not allowed to do.
It's such a good sport.
I mean, in a sense, if people didn't care about us, they wouldn't give us the list.
No.
You know.
I've got a big sell-off coming up. And, oh dear. But I was just out in the water. I was jumping 6 metres on the recorder thing. It was 1 second. I looked at the kite. It was safe. I looked down at the chicken loop. Just how quick it happened. Kite's right, chicken loop, bang. I was gone. Because as I looked at the chicken loop, I was still walking and the thing went out into that funnel. And it's just, man, it must have taken off so quick. It's pretty...
That's all it takes. I mean,
it's just horrifying. I can't come to terms with how it happened so quick. For all my experience and all the rest of it, I just can't work out how I looked at the kite, safe, walking, looked at the chicken loop, from there to there, the next thing I'm airborne. I didn't mind that, but I had no control of anything. And then when I started coming in for the landing, I just knew that it was not going to be good. Because I was going up, but I was travelling at about 10 or 15k as well, that way. So when I come in, I've come in side on foot first, and I should have curled up. I was thinking, well, I'll curl up, but I come down too fast to even make a decision. Yeah. So I've gone foot out, arm out, and just, and then I kept, then I just kept getting dragged.
You get grazes on top of the...
No, because I was fully wetsuited.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? That probably saved you from worse injury because of the tension in
Yeah.
the hand front.
It did, because the wetsuit brought the hand back.
Because it's almost like being splintered.
They cut it all off, like the skin.
Look at that, they're skinning a seal over there in the reserve. Call Greenpeace.
Had a crowd. There was a crowd there, and by the time the elements come, there was a big crowd.
One of the things that I found after that accident that it was hard to come to terms with was the flashbacks.
Well, that's what I mentioned. I don't know how. I had one bad night. I didn't think I would have any psychological issues with it, but I can't resolve how it happened so quick. Only that the fact that, because I got my missus to drive me back out there, so I've got to work out what's happened because I can't figure out what happened so quick. But it was that funnel. I didn't allow for the wind funnel. It was 40 knots.
Yeah, the other thing too, Jason, is, I mean, you can have an average wind speed, but, you know, at random, you can just have something that's very localised and it fits. And that's when, you know, everyone else is okay, but one house has a roof come off, or two houses come off, a roof come off. So, you know, they're not predictable.
No, that's the thing about the wind. It was like, to me, it come to me that, you know how Job got his house blown down and all his kids killed and that? I was thinking before I went back there that there's something not right. Like, how did that happen? And how, when I was behind everything, did that happen? And I thought the wind must have come across the front of the reeds and just caught it, but it wasn't. It was the fact that I walked into that open area, that the kite went into an area that I didn't think about.
And it just confined it, so therefore
Did
the
it
velocity of the air
the
increases
velocity
rapidly.
just smashed it. And I wasn't aware that I was walking into it.
Yeah.
I let out this, like when I got ripped off the ground, I let out this funny, it wasn't a normal noise. I knew I was in trouble because I couldn't comprehend what just happened. Like, how did that just happen? And it wasn't until I went back and did a post-mortem, I could see the mistake I made. What a bad mistake. It was a bad mistake.
Genuine accident.
But the thing is, though, that you'd be looking for it today, but only with hindsight. So, you know what? I wouldn't be persecuting myself for failing to see it at the time.
Well, you know how I blindsided myself? I should have pulled the safety there, but I didn't. I thought I'll get in behind the trees and I'll just self-plant. So I've come in behind the reeds, the initial mangroves, and I've gone, oh, phew, I'm out of it. And then I thought, no, I'll get across to the trees. It's only a 3 metre opening. I thought, I'll go across to the trees. So I've gone to unhook and I've gone across. As soon as, like as I say, in a split second, the kite's gone into that opening. I was thinking I'm safe because I'm right near the trees. But that one funnel, when I went back there and looked at it, gee, I kicked myself. Because this is a life-changing thing now. I'm not allowed to go back kiteboarding or nothing now. But it's been an opportunity to rethink things too. To rethink a lot of things. Like, I'm one of these compulsive personality people. I get too carried away with things. Like, I was, you know, everything operated around the wind. You know, if there was a southerly coming and I knew, then I'd work everything around so that I could be there for that southerly.
When we were young, because I grew up at Narrabeen, so what do? You ride a surfboard. And, you know, a lot of our life revolved around the tides and the waves.
Yeah, well, I had to get counselling for surfing and I got all fixed up and I said to myself, I won't do that with kiting. And I was just on the fringe. I never neglected the missus, like it all worked around the missus, but I was still excessive with it. I'm the only one that's kited in Gosford, in the Broadwater. Yeah, I loved it. But that's not a place where you want to be floating around in there. You don't know what's floating around in there. I've fished it all my life and some of the stuff in there. Nah, but that's it now. We have to postpone the trip to Bali. Just let me take this. Hello? From the government? Yeah, from the government. Yeah, how are you, mate? Yeah? Yeah, good. Yeah, how long is this going to take? Just out of courtesy. Okay, go for it, yeah. Jason William Morrison. 25th of January 1966. 0497849594. Yeah. 410 Man Street, North Gosford. No, this is it. Which one?
just
yeah.
switched to goth data.
All of them. Except they said that they wanted me to get a doctor's certificate and then they provide the medical certificate that works with Centrelink or something. Yeah. No. Do you want it? I provided them with my business number, tax number. Yeah. A personal tax.
Too big.
Employment separation certificate. Why is that?
Charge me extra $10. And
she said not to do that. She said not to do that because I'm not getting sacked or anything.
yes,
I run my own business. I'm still the director of it.
$10 because I need
Yeah.
GPS.
Yeah. So you're going to have to fix that.
So I had data.
No, that's all right. No,
60.
no. That's fine.
Text and unlimited calls. It's like, well, that's saving me maybe $10 or more a month.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
the only way you can sign
Yes.
up is online, and they ask for your details, and then they renew.
Yeah, it must be because everything was signed off and done as successful, right down to the passport and all that stuff.
Accent.
Yeah.
Of course, you think it's us.
And then she let me go after that.
But I thought, well, I've given you
Yeah,
the details.
yeah,
They have rung me, so
Yeah.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's legit.
No,
But
no, I don't think you're.
it's the thought that
I don't think you're a bother at all. But am I going to be running too early if I go to that place tomorrow if it's not all processed? Oh, okay. Okay, thanks for your time. Okay. No, good on you, mate. Bye. That's a Centrelink thing. Yeah. So how are you going with your work and all that, like the J-Dubs and stuff?
Not too bad.
Did you go to the convention?
Well, not yet.
Not
Ours
yet.
is in November.
Yeah.
In Melbourne.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to Melbourne though.
Yeah.
And
What did you do there?
well, Marnie's work is based there, so she works remotely. She just works from home
But she had to go down, did she?
every now and again because she does IT stuff.
Mm.
She's got to go and speak to people at work, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, this program's not talking to that program," and it's just easier sometimes face to face. You know, it's always easier, and hey, she gets paid for it.
Yeah.
So, they fly
Wow.
her, that sort of stuff. So I don't always go with her, but I thought, I'll go with her. My family's in Melbourne as well.
Did you see him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It's all both there.
Yeah.
And have you heard of the Terracotta Warriors in China?
No.
You know,
What are they?
it's like one of I think it's the first emperor of China, so 200 years before Christ.
Right.
So it's a fair while ago, right? So it's sort of like the pyramids, you know, the pyramids in Egypt. They built a tomb for themselves, but they believe in all these weird things. So anyway, the Terracotta Warriors is basically a terracotta army. So
They're life-size too, aren't they?
life-size, or just a bit bigger than life-size.
He had his army buried with him in effect.
So in China, there's like 8,000 of them or something.
Very.
And so this emperor also had all these concubines buried in there with him when he died. They were alive.
When they got
And
there.
then like a
Tomb thing.
It's
like a pyramid.
with under.
They closed the doors. All the artisans, all the guys who did the terracotta, these artworks, right? They got locked in there too.
I saw a documentary.
Anyway, it's meant to protect him in the afterlife, and it's all you know, ridiculous stuff. But anyway, it's a long story. But in Melbourne, they've got 8 or 10 of them. You can go and see them.
Oh, yeah.
So we went
That
and saw
would
them
be
at the
good.
museum.
Yeah.
I saw a doco on it
That would
It's
be
pretty
fun.
interesting.
Yeah.
quite a long time ago, but at one point,
Yeah.
as they're excavating these things, they noticed that the faces were all different. And
The expressions on the face.
well, they started to believe that they were actually, each one was modelled on a real person.
Yeah.
That's sad.
And they are all different. They're pretty amazing. But the thing that I found, so from a religious point of view, I don't know if you've ever heard of, you would have heard of the Noah's flood.
Yeah.
One way that we know that Noah's flood actually happened is there's so many stories and like myths in cultures all throughout the earth about the flood. Well, anyway, in this exhibit, they had these two pictures, and they weren't just pictures, they were actually engravings on stone of two of their gods, right? And then there's, in English underneath, there's a little explanation of what's written on this. So the picture sort of looks like a tadpole, right? But in the explanation, it's like the flood account. This God saved, 8 humans in a global flood.
Wow.
It's like, anyway, I just thought that was interesting from a biblical point of view, a religious point of view. It's like there's that exact thing in that.
Like a confirmation.
Wow. Yeah.
There's even an account, I'm not sure which group of Aborigines, but they've got a
Australian Aboriginals have a story like that, Yep.
Gosh.
It's just, this, you know how it's sort of like Chinese whispers, but in reverse. It sort of proves that if you get all the details and put them together, it's like, only a few people. It was a global flood. It was people and animals, and God helped them to survive. It's sort of like just too many
things.
Too many
I know.
similarities in the story, if you understand what I mean. So to go, well, that sort of lines up with the biblical
one. Down and it migrated.
Anyway, it was pretty interesting.
So what did they do? Make models of the people that were buried?
So the way that they know these ones that I saw, later emperors, so this emperor employed something like 200,000 artists and just sucked all the taxes into this project,
like
right?
The pharaohs did in Egypt.
Yeah. Well, the later, so that was a big no-no because that's sort of what got him booted out.
Was it?
Yeah. So the next emperor came, and even though his tomb had him and all his concubines and all the artists die in there, well, the next emperor found it and smashed everything. So all these warriors actually are put back together. They're all smashed. You can see where they've been put back together in modern times.
But they're all standing in ranks.
When they were buried.
Buried standing up.
Yeah. So.
What about the concubines? They would have been trying to get out and running around and that, wouldn't they?
Well, it's sort of like the pyramids idea where they had.
Collapses.
Maybe in the movies, where things shut and you just couldn't get out.
Oh.
It was
what a horrible
genius money sort of thing,
Well, you get the guy that designs, it's the first one that you get rid of.
And so then anyway, the next emperor came and smashed the whole thing, 50 years later or something like that.
The whole thing.
But he modelled his, he did exactly the same thing, but just smaller scale. And those ones haven't been damaged. So there's like ones about this big, and then you can see them at the exhibit too. And so they know what the original one would have been like based on these more modern ones. And it is just,
that's amazing.
But crazy beliefs in their afterlife.
But when's the convention on?
In Melbourne, it's in November.
Because it's all happening in America at the moment.
Yeah, I think they started in May, early May.
Go around, do they?
The whole
Yeah.
I've seen all the videos for it. It's alright. It's all about love.
Love, love never fails, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we will probably start our invitation campaign about 3
Will
weeks.
you go around
3 weeks
with
before. Yeah.
again?
Yep.
That's good.
But 3 weeks before, I think. Yeah.
But what do you do? Invite people to go to Melbourne?
Hmm.
Shit, that's a big call.
Isn't it? Yeah.
It's a big call, man.
Well, it's like inviting them to go to Sydney. It's the same thing, really. But, you know, there are people who do it.
Yeah.
That will come. But I suppose beyond the expectation that they might come is the fact that what you're really doing is you're highlighting the existence of the convention. You're highlighting the existence of the jw.org website on those little bits of paper, the invitation itself. So it provides an opportunity as you do that, because it's a very quick work, to identify those people who would like to talk some more. So
it's not the only one in Australia either. There are some.
Isn't it?
Yeah, there are some closer. So my brother, for example, he lives in Mackay in Queensland.
Yeah.
There's one up there.
Is it?
there's 11.
And the other problem is you can't fit all the Jehovah's Witnesses
Down
in Australia just in that stadium.
So there's 11.
And they're inviting.
There's what?
11 in Brisbane. So what they're doing is having what we call
11
regionals.
conventions.
Yeah. So they're having regionals. So instead of having a big one, like we would normally do in Sydney, so they're breaking up
15
the whole
in
group.
Sydney, isn't it? Something like
Yeah. So starting in July and going through to September at the Brisbane Assembly Hall, which is just south of Brisbane, they'll start having the same program there, but they'll probably have, somewhere between
people
1,000
coming
and
in.
2,000 people.
Yeah. Just from a specific area.
I did the online study course.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. It's based off of what the Bible teaches.
Yeah. I like to tell people I did that and I failed. I'm just kidding.
No. You can fail, but they do try and help you to get through. Like if you make a wrong answer,
Yeah.
you get a, they go take you again so you can get it right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty useful.
Well, the
It's
idea
not
is-
discouraging.
No.
The idea is passing. It's about
Yeah.
acquiring the understanding of.
Incredible for the young generation too.
I think
They
so.
love it.
Just to be able to get on there and be able to,
Actually, some of those pictures are the best.
the artwork and that. Yeah.
So there's one where I think it's Satan controlling the world. I don't know if you've seen that. That picture is unreal.
Is it?
I really like it. Yeah. It's like it's got a clock behind it, and the clock gets closer to midnight, basically, when the end will be, and you just see world conditions get worse and worse and worse. And worse.
Yeah.
It's
Can
like,
you remember the presentation they had? I think it was last year of the artist. They had, remember they had the artist, the guy that does the artwork.
Yeah.
Last year, early last year, wasn't it? Or,
Yeah, I do remember that.
can you
one.
remember that was a good show?
Yeah.
Man.
The detail that they get put into it and research.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
yes,
good.
doing the
Can you
research.
remember that?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, it
was
was
good.
very impressive.
And they do the same thing with the publications. We saw one where they were talking about how much they research references, like if they use it in a magazine or a book, just to verify that it really is accurate, that the person said it, that they were reasonably sort of qualified sort of person.
What was that one that we stopped using? It's amazing quote, but there's no proof that it ever. It's something like, is it Muhammad? Gandhi?
Yeah,
I
about
think.
getting together. If you and I get together on the teachings of the Sermon on the Mount,
We could solve most of the problems of the world.
Yeah.
So that's a great quote, isn't it? It sounds amazing, but there's no actual proof that he ever said it. It's just like a rumour, or it was quoted by a newspaper. Some like second hand, so they just dropped it because.
and you may well have said
He may have said it,
but
but
nobody
They
recorded.
couldn't authenticate it.
yeah. Which is like that's
a
awesome.
fair call, eh?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things like that. I remember when I was helping one of my daughters with an essay for modern history, and they focused them on Nazi Germany and one thing and another affected in those courses, and the Weimar Republic before that. And Hitler was supposed to have said, and it was in textbooks, supposed to have said that if the League of Nations, which was the predecessor to the UN, if they had acted against me at the beginning, I would have never got away with it.
Really?
It sounds good because it's suggesting, and it is a fact, that the League of Nations was such a toothless tiger that when the Italians went into Abyssinia or Ethiopia, and they're bombing and they're doing all sorts of stuff, and Mussolini's taken all this territory, they send him a sternly worded letter or whatever, and they put some sanctions on it, but they never sanctioned his oil and the stuff that he needed to keep doing it. And every time he took a province or something, in the end they just formalised it, said you can have it. The Japanese went into China, they invaded Manchuria before the Second World War, and they went through the same thing. So Hitler learned if you just take it slice by slice, and he had agreements with the Russians, we'll leave each other's interests alone, the places we each want to conquer, and I'll get on with a certain part of Europe. And so they basically, it was something, the Second World War was something you could see coming and could have been prevented, but they took no action. But it sounds like a great quote, Hitler saying that, but you can't find it anywhere. We know that from our own experience. But it's quite, we saw it in textbooks. You can't verify it.
But with going on quotes that you can't verify, have you found some of them in the watchtowers and that?
Well, this is the thing. What they made a particular point of saying is that they really research it, and they have people who they're dedicated to when the editorial or even scripts for videos, whatever, their job is to basically go
make sure it's right
and check all the sources. And
I remember they had another example too of, so I think there was a scientist that said a spider's web, if you extrapolate that out in, I don't know, times however many, it would stop, like to show the strength of the web, it could stop a jumbo jet in flight. But, you know, well, okay, that sounds awesome, and the scientist said it, but to verify it, they had someone do the numbers and work out whether that was actually realistic. They get a great extent to make sure that,
Because if you're trying to teach somebody the truth of the Bible, because people will change their lives on the basis of that.
Yeah, it's big.
It's big.
It's important.
So therefore, it's super important.
It really is.
And so therefore, you've got to demonstrate yourself to be reliable, even if you're talking about how brilliant a piece of creation a spider's web is. Because if you create some doubt about your accuracy to somebody with that, well then you're going to, in that person's mind, fail with your main task of teaching what the Bible really does teach.
That's that little book, isn't it? What does the Bible teach? What really does the Bible teach?
Yeah. Because everybody starts out, they go to a particular religious organisation and they learn church doctrine. And people think that these things are in the Bible. I did too when I started out at the church.
it's one of the biggest things we do, isn't it? Unteach people doctrine that they've been taught.
So you were at Church of England?
My mother started studying when I was like about 5 with the Witnesses. My father wasn't religious, but the deal was if I was to go to the meetings with Mum, which was something I wanted to do because a sister was studying with Mum and was studying with me as well. So this is in the 60s, and so, in any case,
that's over 50 years ago.
Yeah. So the deal was, he's got to go to the local Sunday school, and I went there. But because I was learning from the Bible, I very quickly, even as a tiny kid, knew that I was being taught some stuff that wasn't right. I didn't dislike those people. They were all sincere. They were neighbours. In fact, the ladies, elderly ladies teaching scripture, lived in the same street, and the family had known them for a long time. But I had to tell my dad that was the deal. Well, you'll have to tell your dad yourself. I can't tell him because he'll think I'm trying to leverage it. And so over the years, I went from the time I was young. I first went door to door when I was 7. In fact, the sister who studied with us, she said, I've got to move the car. And she said, I'd like you to do these next couple of houses on your own. So I did.
That's it.
But you know,
it's a different world though. Too. Like today, you're not even dreaming of that.
But you go through, but you go through different stages in life, and when you get to a teenager, you get pretty distracted by other things like surfboard riding. But at some stage, you've got to take another look, and you've got to prove it to yourself. Is this true or is it false?
Is that what happened to you?
And that was my journey, and I just kept on going because I did that, and I worked for the CSIRO for a number of years. I was working in a scientific environment, and even then I kept on applying what I was learning in that situation. I kept on applying that sort of technique to my own study of the Bible, and just became even more convinced.
So, how did you deal with 1975?
Well, I remember 1975, and people...
You would have lived through it.
You would have been in the
but you know what though, Jason, honestly, and sometimes brothers and sisters, if I'm working with them or having a chat somewhere, they'll ask me about it.
You would have been. Yeah.
Wasn't
22?
Wasn't... No, younger.
18, 19?
I don't...
No,
Probably.
Not even that.
So, the issue that people proclaim it to be, right?
What issue?
Well, 1975, the idea that the end was coming in 75 is how different.
And all that.
Well, you know,
my mum lived through it and she talks about
What'd she
it.
say?
I've heard what people say, but honestly, I'll tell you how I remember it.
Yeah.
We went to assemblies or conventions, and what they were trying to do, as they're still trying to do, is to, because Jesus said, stay awake. At a time you do not think it to be, his day's coming. It's coming like a thief in the night, and the thief doesn't announce his arrival, you know. So back then, as now, they were trying to keep us...
Should I take it? I think that's the government again.
You go for it.
Can you hold your thought?
Yes.
I think it's ringing. Hello? Uncle Bobby, good. How are you? Yeah. Where are you? Are you out at your joint? Yeah. What were you going to say? Yeah, that'll work out good. Can you come about 9:30 or something, and I might get you to take me into Gosford. I've got to go to a Salvation thing, Salvation Army employment thing. Or there's an employment place in the Salvation Army building or something. Do you want to do that, Uncle Bob? Just, if it works in with you, come about 9:30. Yeah. Oh, that'll be good. I'll put the jug on for you. Good on you, Uncle Bob. All right, mate. I'm sitting with the Jehovah Witnesses at the moment. It's come to visit me. Yeah.
We didn't even bring a Bible here.
Yeah. So I'll see you about 9:30 or something. Whatever's best for you, Uncle Bob. Okay, mate. Good on you, Uncle Bob. Bye.
Yeah. So they were trying to focus us to just stay on the way, stay awake, stay focused, and which was an appropriate thing to do. One of the things that they did is they talked about, based on Bible chronology, because you know when you read in the Old Testament, you can see this king came to power and ruled for so many years after this king and all that. So with all of that, you can actually work backwards to Adam and estimate when he was born, created, basically. So with some thinking about the length of creative days and how God is presently resting in terms of his creative works, and therefore if everything's going to come into being by the end of the 1,000-year reign of Christ, well, where we might be in the stream of time. They simply made the statement that, based on Bible chronology, we believe that 1975 marks 6,000 years from Adam's creation. And my recollection is that's all they ever said.
Oh, yeah.
But it got translated back in my congregation as, I mean, it stayed at that for a while, but Chinese whispers, when people were giving talks, it started moving towards, well, the end is coming in 1975. And even then, I remember talking to Mum about it, and we sort of thought...
What did she say about it?
Well, you know, Jesus made it clear in Matthew 24 that nobody knows the day of the hour.
Yeah.
So my mum remembers.
Yeah.
She remembers
What
a
did
talk
she say?
from the governing body.
Yeah.
I think it's Franz. She said.
Raymond
He-
Franz.
No. Fred.
Oh, the other one.
Fred
Fred
Franz.
Franz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came out, gave a talk in 1975.
Yeah.
She can't remember when, but
What did he say?
so she's a couple of years older than you. She was
Yeah.
like 19 or 20 or
Is
something
she
like
still
that.
alive?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
What did she say?
he went through the scriptural reasons why the end was not coming in 1975.
Yeah.
She remembers it clear as day.
That's
He was like,
Yeah.
it is not 1975.
Yeah.
This is a member of the governing body saying,
So-
this is wrong.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
Was he still alive then, Fred Franz?
yeah, he died in 90,
Oh, did he?
96, I
I
think.
saw him in Sydney. We
Live? You saw him speak?
Yeah.
Wow.
In Sydney, we used to have our district conventions.
I believe he was blind at the end, wasn't
He
he?
was, yeah, he was.
Did most of
and
it
he
from
spoke
memory.
on an outdoor platform at Warwick Farm Racecourse. We used to just hire that place. And put a stage out near the track. And he spoke for an hour and a half, and he was word perfect in quoting scripture. He'd be quoting it, I'd be following my Bible.
Wow.
But blind.
And he
Can't
was,
see.
he was about 90 at the time. Amazing.
Just blind.
Because he just knew the scriptures that well. So what people say about 1975 is it's always been like water off a duck's back, because I lived through that period, and it's not how they, including detractors of Jehovah's Witnesses, say. It just wasn't like that. And you know, today...
It was a bit of a cultural thing, like within... So the leadership, effectively, the governing body was saying, no, this isn't it. But there was a bit of a cultural thing where people were saying, oh, this is it, based on...
Well, like in the congregation that I was in at the time in Mona Vale, on the Northern Beaches, where I grew up, people were thinking, well, the end's coming. There's no point having the money in the bank, let's start travelling. Which was a strange focus anyway, because that's like saying, well, I'm living in Satan's world, but I want to experience it all before it's destroyed. Whereas, really, you should be looking forward to what God's bringing about after that.
Wow.
So we knew some people who did that, and they emptied the bank account,
And what happened?
and nothing happened, and so
Then
that was
they're
the
pretty
first.
upset.
That was the
They're the people that are whinging about it, basically, because...
So they took,
Well, you said it was
a spiritual hit, but really it was their own decision.
Presumption.
But
Yeah.
and then they just had to get back to work and sort out their bank accounts again. So you know, really, if,
Jeez.
and you know, when you think about the fact that at the time he was on the earth, Jesus was saying, "Well, I don't know the day," but that was almost 2,000 years ago, and it's quite clear from his comment that the day was already set, and only at that stage his Father knew. And it's a good thing, because really what each person is being asked to do in a sense is to demonstrate their dedication to God. But if the Bible said the date and we walked up and down these streets proclaiming that, you know, like Jonah had to do in Nineveh, only so many days more and destruction's coming, then we'd probably have a whole heap of people that would be at the Kingdom Hall every time we had a meeting. And as soon as the day passed, they'd be gone. because it wasn't about their service to God. It wasn't about changing their lives. It wasn't about
the motive,
having the same standards that God has.
It's just they didn't want to die.
Yeah, which would be an understandable thing. So we don't know the day or the hour.
It's interesting too, if you think back to the flood, like we were talking about before. Noah preached to the people of his time, but there was only 8 people that survived that flood. There were hundreds of thousands of people alive at that time.
And that includes his own family. Because he had uncles, aunts, and mum was still alive.
But just his children, his wife, and his sons' wives, they were the only ones that survived. So it gives you a bit of an indication of what you know, that's what happened then. People just didn't listen to it.
Well, and that's what Jesus
said. There's a warning, there's a warning, there's a warning. Yeah, he didn't know exactly the date either, he just knew that it was coming.
So where are you at with it then, now, the end? You don't know?
Well, we don't know.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's fair.
We don't know, but one of the things Jesus did say after that is he gave an illustration in Matthew 24 about a fig tree. And it's no different to our experience. I mean, you know when summer's on its way, because if you've got deciduous trees in your backyard, like the magnolia I've got in the back of mine, it starts to put out little leaf shoots. And it starts growing new leaves, so you know summer's on the way. What he said was, when you see the fig tree doing that, because obviously they had lots of them across Palestine, he said, you know, summer is near. Basically what he was saying was, okay, you don't know the day or the hour, but you do know the season, which is a much broader period of time, a season as opposed to a day or an hour. And that was the reason why in that same part of the chapter of the Bible he gave us the signs. Wars, earthquakes, famines, disease epidemics and so on and so on. You would know when you came into the last days, in other words, the season. So he made it clear, because when he talked about these are the beginning of pangs of distress, the Greek word translated there is birth pains essentially. So with those, with contractions, you know that once your wife starts having those, they're going to intensify, and they're going to push a baby out in the end. So he's saying that as this season advanced, then world conditions will just get worse and worse.
How do you see it then at the moment? You both?
Well, I watched the broadcast, and I think...
The anxiety one, or is there been one after that?
Yeah, there has been, I think there's been there was a Gilead graduation, so there's a...
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, we probably should go actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Hang on, give me one sec.
No,
hello? Yeah. Can you just give me one sec? I'll just see my visitors off and then I'll get into it with you. Just give me one sec, yeah. All right, well, it's the government again.
You know, we can pick up this conversation.
Yeah, no, I just want to be grateful that you've come.
And
give me one sec.
I'll bring a tablet up so I don't have to quote it.
Yeah,
Look at it.
Thanks for coming, Graham. I appreciate it. No, I do.
No.
And the hospital as well.
Yeah, no.
Thank you.
I'm just, if we can make a contribution to your day,
you have.
we've hit a home run.
You've made my day, and it's so good to see you, Graham. No, it is.
Good to see you.
Really good to see you.
Where you getting it?
Yeah,
even though this is a life-changing event, like you said before, but the thing is, you're still alive, life's still good, it has possibilities, and, you know,